Hi, my name is Jamil Tembo. In case we have never met before, maybe this is our first time meeting. It's exciting to see you. And I'm going to be sharing something very, very sensitive, very important, very crucial. And it might just be something that nobody is talking about the way I think we should be talking about it now. And it has to do with this. Okay, so let me start off by introducing myself a little bit better. My name is Demla Oluwatimba. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a songwriter, I'm also a pastor, right? So I have a variety of expressions in terms of spirituality and social expressions and all of them. Maybe see some of my videos are posted on Instagram or somewhere else. But in as much as I'm going to be making certain references from Bible passages, I wanted to please pay attention, especially if you're a woman, you have a sister, you have an auntie, you have a girlfriend, you have a fiance, you have a woman in your life that you really care about, that you're really interested in, that you are connected to. Please pay attention to what I'm going to be sharing. I know it's sensitive, I know it's very important, I know it's even personal. In some cases, maybe like very private, like, how dare you talk about my dressing? How can you even talk about it? I understand all of those biases, all of those considerations. So I'm pleading with you, please pay attention. I know it's your data, I know it's your time, I know it's your energy. I'm going through this great lens to say, pay attention. That's one. Number two, you might be a Muslim, Buddhist, or a Krishna, African traditional religion, worshiper, whatever you are. And even though I'm going to be drawing insights from the Bible, I believe that you can still learn from what I'm going to be saying. So don't let that religious barricade or cultural filter make you misunderstand what I'm going to say, even though you might still misunderstand it. So let's talk about dressing. Now, I'm addressing this issue, addressing this issue. Actually, I'm doing more than addressing this issue. I am you know, if you know me, that I do things like I'm addressing this issue. I need to address this issue. It's very, very critical now. My wife and I, we've had this conversations about decency and dressing for years, ongoing, right? About our culture in general, not my dressing or her dressing, our culture in general, and how a lot of the Western influences are beginning to override what we consider a traditional approach to dressing. And that's in different levels and layers. Now, not every part of the Western culture is bad and negative. For example, what I'm wearing right now is not typically African. This is Western dressing, right? So maybe 200 years ago, you never see an African man wearing this. So this is not bad, right? But I think that there are certain aspects of our dressing that is beginning to go like really off tangent, really beginning to go in a direction that none of us will be proud of in a few years if it keeps going that way. So I'm going to be quite direct as well. You know, I've already apologized, so if you're going to be offended, remember the apology. But you might be offended all the same, and that's not out of your place or out of place to be offended, because I know it's going to be piercing, it's going to get deeper. So a short while ago, there was the AMVCA. Sorry, I'm not dyslexic, I promise. And they're great people who are dyslexic, but they're very successful, so no shade. AMVCA, African Magic of Video. Oh Lord, help me.
Awesome.
Viewers' Choice Awards. African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. Now, at this particular awards, I felt like we saw the consummation of a certain trajectory. We saw like the full manifestation of a certain trajectory regarding our dressing as a people. And so one of the major things that we saw in this particular, I'm talking about AMVCA 7, so 2020, if you're watching this maybe some years later, 2020. And one of the things that we saw was that there was a lot of flesh and skin all over the place. Like, it was like part of the dress code was you've got to wear this long slits of skirts. Like, if this was the skirt, like this was the top, this was the, let me just dramatize it, diagrammatically expressed. Let's say this is especially the ladies, of course, the guys to add theirs, but especially the ladies. So let's say this is the lady and this is like the skirt. Now, in many cases, many of the ladies, and I'm addressing this because I know that it wasn't just one person or two people or three people. So many of the ladies will have maybe like this long skirt, and then there will be this long slit over here, and then the leg is like over here, long slit, like very visible. And in some cases, the tops were not even conservative, like you have something like this so that you can actually literally see like half of the cleavage. Now someone's going to be like, what's your business? Shut up! How dare you? Who told you that? Well, you're entitled to that, but a couple of things over here. Before I dress up as a human being, especially in today's culture, I need to ask myself quite a number of questions. Because I feel like many people who dress this way to that event and who have been dressing like this to parties and in some cases even to churches, right, that they are under a certain influence. When I say influence, I mean peer pressure, cultural influence, societal influence. And they've never really stopped to ask certain questions that I'm going to guide us through today. Like if you dress in this way, half of your breast is out, and we call the breast private part, and there's a reason we do that. Or half your thigh is out, and people go like, it's my leg. Of course it's your leg. But if you're in the public domain, in the public space, I think that there's now a level of responsibility that you ought to pay attention to. So for many people who dress this way, legs out, or what I call thick belts, thick belts are supposed to be skirts with their thick belts, and then you can see like the thighs out. Get all the thighs out, and there's just like this shot there. Many people that dress this way, they are under this cultural influence. I don't think like most people just wake up and say, this is the way I was born to dress. I think that what happens is people watch on television, radio, social media, people read magazines, books, and go like, wow, this person is the reigning queen or the reigning king or the queen of this one and that one, and I want to be like that. So they begin to emulate this dressing from an aspirational point of view. If Cardi B wears it, I want to be like Cardi B, so I'll dress like Cardi B. If Kim K wears it, though my name is not Kim K, my name is Team A, I will dress like Kim K. If what's this Anaconda babe's name? Is it Anaconda rapper? Nicki Minaj. If Nicki Minaj wears it, then let me be like Nicki Minaj, Iggy Azalea, all these other guys, foreign artists. And then we begin to import these things in our African music, in our African culture, in our African context. And what we don't realize is that we're exposing what ought to be a temple. Now, so I'm going to draw from the Bible. The Bible says that my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So observe this, your body is a temple, and it's not supposed to be what? A playground. It's not supposed to be a place where people's eyes can, feast on your personal assets, feast on your personal or your private parts. So your private parts are not for public consumption. So your private parts are not for public consumption. So your private parts are not for public consumption. And there are so many people today who are publicizing what they ought to privatize. Now, these private parts are supposed to be for private enjoyment between you and your spouse when you do get married, if you're not married yet. It's not supposed to be for the public view. And this is not from a place of disrespect. This is from a place of respect. I respect you enough to invite you to consider the school of thought that these things, I know that some of you are my Instagram friends or my social friends, so this is not a personal attack on you. I wish I could go to each person and have an inbox chat with them, but I can't do that. It's not realistic, yeah? So that's why I'm doing this video. So there are a couple of questions I think that all of us need to ask when it comes to our dressing. If you're upset, just keep watching, right? It's going to get hotter. So a couple of things that I think that all of us need to pay attention to, male and female. Now, why is the onus more on the women? Women have more private areas than men, number one. Number two, men are generally more visually stimulated, more visually stimulated than women are. And so when a woman exposes her body, men have more to look at and ogle at and ah at and ooh ah and la at and all of that. I know that women too are sometimes turned on by biceps and triceps and muscles and all of that. I understand that. And then of course, because women are generally more vulnerable in society, society has already objectified many women. So why do you want to keep giving society reasons to objectify women? Now some people are going to be like, it doesn't matter, men ought to be disciplined, let them close their eyes and all of that. I agree with you. Nonetheless, I honor you enough to say you don't have to expose yourself to the beautiful. As a matter of fact, you're already beautiful. You're already good looking. You're already gorgeous. You're already fantastically designed by your creator. And so exposing parts of you does not increase your value at all. It reduces your value, either in essence or at least in perception. So a couple of questions I think that all of us need to ask. How many minutes are we done? So I'm gonna, this is just like an introduction. So let me wrap up the introduction and I'll talk about some other questions. There are many things I want to address in terms of dressing, and this particular video is incomplete, so don't judge the entirety of the message based on what I've shared so far. What I wanted to do is leave some comments and thoughts in the comment box below. I'm going to read through as many of them, if not all of them, and I'll begin to talk about or respond to some of them later on. But for now, let me just wrap this up by saying this. There is a whole cultural wave that has just hit us in the face, and there are many women who are under pressure who are saying, I need to show my assets, I need to show my boobs, I need to show my bum and show my thighs. And here's the deal. Ask yourself the question, where will this end? Where will this stop? If I keep showing and showing and showing, will I be satisfied? Will I really feel complete? Will I feel celebrated, appreciated, loved, accepted, validated, exonerated? Here's the deal. I'm not a woman, I don't have breasts like women do, but no matter how great your breasts are, no matter how much you reveal it, at some point you're going to find somebody with better breasts. You're going to find somebody with a bigger bum. You're going to find somebody with a greater shape. You're going to find somebody with more supple skin. You're going to find somebody with more sultry eyes. You're going to find somebody with more pointed nose or perk lips or whatever it is that you're trying to convey. So your body is not supposed to be a tool for competition. It's not supposed to be a weapon to pepper people or a weapon of mass destruction, a weapon of man's destruction. Your body is a priceless gift. It's not a playground, it's a temple. It's not an exhibit for the museum of mankind to be visibly displayed and explored by everybody. It's supposed to be a gift. It is a gift that God has given to you. And I think that we all have that responsibility to begin to pay attention to our bodies that way. Stay tuned for the next video. I want to go in deeper. I want to talk about motives. I want to talk about intentions. I want to talk about methodologies. I want to talk about peer pressure. I want to talk about culture. I want to talk about why we need to address this issue and stem it in the bud right now, and how this affects morality, how this affects rape culture, how this affects date rape, how this affects lust, how this affects personal insecurities and inferiorities on the part of the women themselves, and why there is really no constructive or fulfilling future in nudity or partial nudity. I hope this has struck a chord within you. I know you possibly have many thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comment box below. Be polite, don't be disrespectful. Let me just say this, I love you, and all those videos I'm going to be putting out regarding this are from a place of love, a place of honor and dignity, and a place of I owe it as a father, as a leader, as a pastor, as a responsible member of society of the masculine gender, in fact of any gender at all, to share this perspective and to help all of us get better in this our dressing matter so that things don't go out of order. Love you. Looking forward to your comments. Stay tuned for the next video.